again. We
We
back
are.
again.
That's not a real song. You just totally made that up. So
You don't
I'm
know
off the
that.
hook
It could
on this
be.
one.
It could
Yeah.
be a real song.
And I
It's a
wasn't
real
going to ask
song
you
now.
who sings it, so don't worry
Right.
about it. Whenever
So
I ask
that's-
you who sings it, that's when you know.
So that's how I know it's
Go
not a real
time.
song.
Well,
I mean,
I'll tell
it
you
could
what.
be.
We got
No,
we
it's
got
not.
about 30 seconds to our
Okay.
trivia question pops
Yep.
up. So I want people to know this is your last chance to enter for October. So you got to either comment with the correct answer on the video,
Uh-huh.
or you can share the video on Twitter or Facebook and tag Ref the District and use the hashtag Countdown Trivia. You do that, you can enter to win some swag like this shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Ooh,
this
la
shirt.
la.
Or that-
Ed Stoner got a hoodie down there.
Here
wonderful
it is.
hoodie
There's
there.
a question.
Multiple ways. Trevor,
What
hit us with it.
What Dolphins cornerback was on the receiving end of a John Riggins stiff arm en route to Riggins' famous 43-yard touchdown run in Super Bowl 17? Once again, what Dolphins cornerback, and he plays defense, okay, was on the receiving end of a John Riggins stiff arm to the face en route to Riggins' famous 43-yard touchdown run in Super Bowl 17? Who was it?
That was a
I
good
don't
one.
know.
Who got Josh Norman out here? Who did it?
I don't know, but I don't know why John Riggins' number is not retired. Shouldn't it be?
Oh my, yes.
I'm just
Stoner,
asking.
it's-
Should Riggins
yeah,
be retired?
Good
Yes.
question.
It should be.
I mean, he
It's
wasn't here
coming.
like he was here 2 different times, right? I'm just asking.
Mark Rippon too. Then
When we come back, it's Ref the District, episode 40.
I'm a pretty bad kid.
Yeah, let's talk about the bigger picture. Let's talk about how we be ballin', playing with the bridges. Let's talk about the Nats and how they always got good pictures. Let's talk about the cats who rescue, turn them boys to winners. Injuries and updates, oh yeah. To the opponent, we stand toe to toe, yeah. To the top, this podcast gonna go, yeah. I think it's something you should know, yeah.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to episode 40, Denver of Thieves.
ooh,
This is Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. Joining me, as always, it's the Joker, the Laugher. It's Trev.
Hey, what up, guys? How we doing? We gonna win on Sunday.
I hope so. And down on the bottom here, we got Stoner.
What's up, fellas? Good to see you all once again. Always happy to hang out with my boys and talk Washington football team / DC sports.
Yo, it's pretty funny. You put your old man glasses on and said, "Good to see you, boys," right after you put them on. So
Hey, you can't contain the genius that is the Stoner.
okay.
So,
What's
well,
up, guys?
We've got a good show for you. We will be talking about the Denver Broncos. In fact, we have a special guest coming up. It will be Susie Worgan from the Broncos radio sideline joining us here for the game. And in the cool down, we'll talk some more of our other DC sports, how the Wiz started their season.
Yep.
Mhm.
Caps continued their wonderful start to their season as well. That will all come down in the cool down. But the warm up right now is going to be the Washington football team against the Denver Broncos. And of course, before I get there, because I forgot about it, I ran away with this, guys. It ran away from me, just like
It's
you'll
okay.
be running with
Oh.
Pacers Running, our sponsor. Pacers Running for every run. You'll hear more about them when we get to the game. All right, guys. Denver
about it?
Broncos started off the season strong, have
Uh-huh.
not continued to look as good as that 3-0 start. Do you think Washington can win this game in Mile High come Sunday? Halloween, by the
well,
way. Scary
Oh,
game.
no.
Maybe scary game for Scary Terry.
could be a trick or a treat. Well, since you said the fact that they started 3-0, the Denver Broncos, and they are now on a 4-game losing streak, they're going up against a team that, if you're looking to get out of your slump, we can help you with that. So this might be a trap game for us as well. I know trap game is a weird term to use because we're not a good team to use the word trap game, but Denver is coming on a 4-game losing streak. They have quarterback issues just like we do. For what it's worth, our defense has shown progression the past 2-3 games, especially against Aaron Rodgers. We put him on the ground like 2 or 3 times. That was really nice to see. So I do think we have a legit 100% chance of winning this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do.
More than a chance. I believe that Washington does win this game because, and I'll even tell Susie when she gets here, Denver is poopy. They're basically the same team as Washington.
I need that verbatim said.
Not
to
really.
Susie when she
Yeah, no
comes
problem.
on.
Their passing
say
defense is pretty good.
Well, okay, but look, they're not a good football team, and why are they not a good football team? Because they don't have a quarterback, right? They're the same as us. Look, we're a poopy team as well. It's not like we're going in there with some great team or anything, but I'm just saying that this is the type of team, the type of game that Washington usually wins.
Yeah, and that's why I mean trap game, because it's laid out that way. But
because
we are the Washington football
usually
team.
a trap game is when you're a good team and all of a sudden you have a bad opponent and then a good opponent coming after that.
Yeah, Washington was a trap
I
game
know.
for Green Bay.
But I
because
get what you're saying.
They expect to beat Green Bay in Lambeau. I agree with Stoner. I don't know that I would use that particular choice of words. I don't think that Denver is a particularly great team. And so I think that this is a very winnable game. And I said that a few weeks ago when we were looking at how bad this team was looking, at how bad the schedule was. And that's why I wasn't worried these last couple of weeks when they're losing bad against the Chiefs, when they're losing in just a way that just is frustrating. I'm not saying that the way that they lost against Green Bay isn't frustrating, because they left lots of points on the board, or off the board rather. Yeah. But you expect them to lose those games. Now, Denver is a game that if they lose this, Monday's day after reckoning, you might actually get me to be a little bit more emotional, because that one I'm not expecting them to lose this game. I'm expecting them either to win, or this better be if they lose, it better be on like some fluke, play.
You don't want
a situation
Washington
where it's just like you didn't expect.
You don't want Washington to get their butts handed to them against Denver.
No, against Denver.
Right. Exactly.
You like Teddy Bridgewater? Is this Teddy Bridgewater from like before the injury? Teddy Bridgewater?
I mean, if he's going against us, he might be. That's what I'm saying. Like, he might be.
He did look again during the win streak. He looked like a reasonable quarterback.
He is a reasonable
did Sam
quarterback.
Sam Darnold in their win streak down in Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, I was
he is a reasonable quarterback.
There you go. I'll take that, Nathan. Sam Darnold. I like that.
So here's what I think coming for the rest of this year, right? Okay. This obviously includes the Denver game. I think I've thought this all through. They're going to win 8 games this year total. So they got to go. I don't even know what that is. 6 and whatever the rest of the way. They're going to go 8 and 9. So they're going to go 6 and 4 the rest of the way.
Okay.
Because look at what they've done so far. Look at who they've played so far this year. In their 7 games, they have played 6 playoff teams. All right. You can talk all you want about Atlanta, who is 3-3, I believe. You can talk all you want about New Orleans, who I believe is 4-3, whatever they are.
4-2.
4-2. Right. The Giants are the only real poopy team they've played. Right. So that's the one game. Now they've lost.
They've put together a few games that have looked decent. The Giants have.
So you're gonna, and 4 of those 7 teams that you've played are Super Bowl contenders. The Chargers are Super Bowl contenders.
I wouldn't say that they are now.
I think that's a bit much for the Chargers. The Bills, yes.
The Bills are Super Bowl contenders. The Chiefs, say what you want about Patrick Mahomes and
they're struggling, but I agree they're in that.
They're Super Bowl contenders. Don't get your mind all twisted on that.
They're in that tier.
Okay.
They've been to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Okay, they're in a little struggle spot right now. Okay, and of course the Packers are Super Bowl contenders.
Yes.
And they've obviously lost to all those teams. Understood. But now they have teams like Denver, who is 3-4, 2-5. I don't even know what they are.
3-4. Yeah.
They won their
Carolina.
first 3 of them.
Yeah.
What's Carolina? 3-4.
3-4. Yeah.
They've got obviously Tampa and Vegas. Those are probably 2 losses. They've got Seattle, who is 2-5. They've
Without
got
Russell Wilson, but he'll be back.
the Giants, who are 2-5. They've got Philadelphia twice, who are 2-5. And then, of course, they have Dallas, who is running away with the division right now. But you're going to win some games you don't expect to. You're going to lose some games that you were supposed to win. But I just think this team is going to get better. And they're going to win some games. They're not going 3-14. They're not going 4-13. They're just not. They're going to end up with 7 or 8 wins. And it starts this week. They beat Denver this week. I truly believe that.
The matchup predictor from ESPN, for the record, has Denver at 69%.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because their passing defense is really, really good.
Well, that's okay. We can't pass.
Teddy Bridgewater, for the record, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 1,700 yards.
Yeah,
what's Taylor Heineke right now?
1650 with 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
That's awful. He's
going to throw 2 more.
He's going to throw 2 more on Sunday.
It's not the greatest.
Yeah,
oh man, let's not
get
there.
to that.
We'll get to that in the
dollar. We'll get to that.
But did you guys happen to see the Pro Football Focus grades for Washington from this past game?
Nah.
17 defensive players played, right, in the game. I had at least 1 snap, and they were graded out. Now, I do have a fundamental problem with Pro Football Focus and how they do their grades.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting you're bringing up PFF right now and someone who doesn't really.
Yeah, but everybody seems to go by them, right? So, of the 17 guys, who do you think was the lowest rated defensive player out of the
Chase
17?
Young. I was listening to the Junkies when they brought it up. Shout out to the Junkies.
Love the Junkies. Love the Junks.
What up, Junk?
Chase Young was the lowest rated.
By the way, my go-go
player.
for the
oh yeah, it was
my go-go.
Yeah. Was what?
He was my go-go for the game was Chase Young, and he got rated the lowest defensive player. I laughed at that. There are some things, I have a love-hate relationship with it as well. There's some things where I agree. I'm a very much an analytic guy. I like the numbers. I like breaking things down in a way that they make sense, number-wise. But then there are some things that you just look at and you're just like, that's an eyeball test, right? That player has it. That player does not have it.
Right.
Yeah, one of the things I say about Taylor Heineke, I really don't like his play, but he's got a lot of moxie, right? He has at least that
damn moxie.
I'm not saying it's worth the darn. But at least, hey, that's what you want your backup quarterback to have, right? You want your backup quarterback to have moxie, because when they come into the game, you want them to kind of fire up the players and go after it. And it's not that you don't want your starter to have it. It's just that he's not a starting quarterback. He just happens to be a starting quarterback right now. But the tail of the tape with him is being laid out quite easily. You can see that he's just not where he needs to be. Now, I do think that he's a serviceable quarterback. I do wish that we could get somebody else here.
Timeout.
That
How did you get on Taylor Heineke when Stoner was talking about PFF? How did we get to that?
Well, he's just trying to say that sometimes PFF, sometimes the eyeball test.
The eyeball test went from the PFF to the eyeball test. Taylor Heineke doesn't pass either.
We know that. Yeah, we know that. That's
shout out to Patrick in our chat right here. So we do stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Patrick, what's up? Hail to Washington football team.
Can you guys?
You can join in.
Listening, can you tell that we're huge fans of Taylor Heineke? Can you guys tell that?
Well, we've definitely never been fans of Taylor Heineke.
We all were Instant Hive memberships. Not at all. No.
You know what, Nick?
Not a single one of us believed in him.
Do you remember episode 1 of Ref the District?
PT.
Right? This is PT. This is pre-Trev, right?
Let me just.
No. Go. So episode 1, I'm just doing a callback to what we did. You remember what we did that day? We had our 5 priorities for the Washington football team in the offseason, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we didn't share them with each other, but they pretty much aligned right up, right? And what was number 1? That they could not go into training camp with QBX. They couldn't go in with Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, and a nobody.
Right.
That's exactly what they did. Everybody's known
Y'all did this
for years. You
Y'all
can't
did this.
go into training camp without your franchise quarterback, or what? You're going to be 2-5 going against another 2-5 team that's poopy.
How do
3
you
and
guys
14.
know that?
3
So
and
you guys
14.
are
Are they 3
responsible
and
for
4?
this
Sorry,
season. You guys are responsible for this
yeah.
season.
If we had that much
you
power,
guys.
Trevor, we would not be speaking awfulness into existence. We'd be speaking Super Bowls into existence. But unfortunately, we do not have that kind of power here on Ref the District. Well, I tell you what, we're going to find out a little bit more about the Broncos side of the house when we return for the game. And we'll be bringing on Susie Worgan, the Broncos radio sideline reporter, here in just a bit. Welcome to the stream. It is Susie Worgan, as I mentioned, the Broncos radio sideline reporter, to give us the Broncos. By the way, if you're listening to the audio version, you're missing out on the throwback Denver Broncos helmet.
Yeah,
oh, you see that, do you?
Love that. Cool. Love that. It's so good. It interrupted my intro. Like just mid-thought, I was just like, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't usually sit there, but I thought I had to break it out for you guys.
That's perfect.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us, Susie. We appreciate you joining us here on Ref the District.
You bet. Yeah. And I'll say one thing, and my last name's easy to confuse. It's like gin, the drink. Now, once I say it that way, it's War Gin. Then you'll never.
I have a bartender. So
there we go. All right.
There you go. Yeah, Trev's got it.
Fantastic.
Well, we again appreciate you joining us. We talked about and Stoner's got some special words to say about the Denver Broncos. We'll let him get to that in just a little bit. Okay. The Denver Broncos started off the season pretty strong. Not so strong here the last 4 weeks. What's been going on with them as a team lately?
Isn't that the $1 million question? Yeah. When you said 2 and 5, I'm like, oh wait, did I miss one of our wins?
My fault.
So yeah, thankfully we had those first 3 wins. Last 4 games, not so good. Injuries, and you hate to have injuries be a big reason why things have fallen apart, but that is one of the big reasons we've fallen apart, especially defensively. I was looking at the breakdown between the 2 teams for this Sunday, and our defenses, the offenses have a lot to be desired, but our defense, Broncos defense wise, still has some of those categories where they're top 10. And I think that's a result of what happened in those first 3 games, because they were so good, but just have been decimated. Linebacker position, we lose Josie Jewell and Alexander Johnson, both to torn pec
You lost to porn? Holy
porn. No.
Wait a minute. What's going on?
Now you sound like the Washington football team now.
I know, exactly. Oh, yeah. So you guys have enough headlines. I wasn't going to bring those up, but just there. And, our secondary has had issues. And now we've got some issues up front. Mike Purcell's got a thumb injury. They're not sure if he's going to play on Sunday. So defensively, we've heard. And then Von Miller, Vic Fangio was asked today, hey, if he would, if you had to say today if he'd play Sunday, he said it's questionable. He's got the ankle injury. Although a lot of us are still thinking it looked more like a knee injury when we watched them against the Browns on Thursday. So there's just been a lot of issues there. And then offensively, struggling there too. And Teddy looked so good for the first 3 games, and everybody thought he was like the second coming of the guy who signed that helmet, John Elway.
Oh, you got a signature on that thing too?
Right?
Name drop.
It's just kind of one of those things where now we're like, oh man, and when Drew Lock came in, Drew had such a great opportunity to show everybody why he should have been picked. They said the battle was really close between the 2 of them, but he showed nothing in that half of football that he played when Teddy went out with a concussion. So there's just been some struggles there too. Very, very hopeful that this weekend we might get Jerry Jeudy back at wide receiver, and Teddy and Jerry do they're phenomenal together. Before Jerry Jeudy went out in that first game against New York, I think he had 6 catches for 72 yards or something like that. Was just on fire that game. So a great target, if he plays on Sunday. Alberto, not sure if he's going to be back this Sunday or not, but if we can get another, somebody at the tight end position, that'll help. Although we've got great tight ends there, especially with Noah Fant. So we sit there and look at the team on paper, especially at the beginning of the season, and people are like, man, we're kind of stacked. I mean, Teddy was our question mark. He came out strong. Defense came out strong, but then the last few weeks, it's just kind of, and it just goes away. And you sit there and go, wait, what happened?
Yeah. So you mentioned Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. So like the Washington football team, we have a big question mark at quarterback too as well.
Right.
What are some rumblings about the organization for the future of that position? Are you guys looking to maybe sign and trade for a veteran in the offseason, go find somebody in the draft, or what are your plans at quarterback for the future if you have any right now?
Honestly, there's so many question marks just with this team in and of itself because of ownership. That's one of the biggest questions I think people are looking at in the offseason. By next spring, chances are we will have, new ownership in the works because there's such a big thing going on with the Bolin family. The kids would all have to agree. There's 7 of them. It's not going to happen. So if they can't agree, the team will be up for sale. So if that happens, our GM, George Payton, who came from Minnesota, he's got a 6-year contract. So pretty sure that Payton will stay in place. Will Fangio stay in place? Who knows? Will Pat Shermer, our offensive coordinator, be here? Who knows? So I think it really depends top to bottom what happens, within the organization to see what they do end up doing at quarterback. Because if we've got a whole new coaching staff in here, they're going to have to cater, to a quarterback and a scheme that works with that coaching staff. So we've tried the veteran quarterback before. It worked really well with Peyton Manning. But still, even when we got Peyton
Manning, isn't that Eli's brother? Isn't that Eli's brother?
That's Eli's brother. He's the funny one on the top of the screen.
Yeah.
Actually, Eli's
everybody watches that.
Eli's good. Yeah.
They are good.
But they're going to honor Peyton too at halftime this weekend because he's going to have his name in the Ring of Fame, and then they'll celebrate the fact that he got into the Hall of Fame too. So, but Peyton worked out well. Joe Flacco, not so much. So it kind of depends on which way you go with that veteran quarterback. And they thought they had it with Teddy. I mean, you don't have a Peyton Manning with Teddy Bridgewater, but he came with that veteran experience, which was more than what Drew Lock has. I think he gained a great respect in the locker room. The guys really, really like him. And I've seen a lot of gelling between offense and defense more this year than I have the last couple of years. And I think that's a result of Teddy really trying to bring guys in and keep guys together. So I really, Trev, I think it's going to be something where we just got to see what happens with the organization before they figure out what's going on at quarterback.
Okay. Well, Susie, let's stick with quarterbacks because that's the NFL is built around the quarterback,
Absolutely.
Right? You win if you got a good quarterback, and you lose if you don't. And so that's kind of my view of Denver is they're not very good because they don't have a quarterback. In fact, I called them poopy, but so is Washington. Washington is poopy as well, but I consider Denver a poopy team because of the quarterback position. But my question is, would you take 10 more years of what you're going through right now, knowing
he said 10.
No,
I know,
but knowing,
right? Or
do you think that they sold their future for those couple years of Peyton Manning and a couple of Super Bowls and one title? Did they sell out their future when they did that? And now they're in the same quarterback purgatory that so many teams are in.
No, I don't think so. And I think, you can probably go back to like when the Marlins went to the World Series and they sold everything to get all the right people in to get to the World Series. And did we do that? No, not necessarily. I mean, it was Peyton freaking Manning, and they just don't make them like that very often. So, first ballot Hall of Famer, and you just can't say enough good things about him. I mean, Tom Brady's breaking all of his records now, but there's so many the mediocre quarterbacks in this league. There's way too many of them. And sometimes I sit there and go, how come there can't be, where's that upper echelon? But really we can count them on one hand. You got Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, where else?
Maybe Mahomes when he's healthy.
Patrick Mahomes, except he's getting exposed more and more as well.
Yes, he is.
Yes, and Russell Wilson when he's healthy, and Dak when he's healthy,
and that's the problem.
Right.
I think it's just we're in such a state all around the league of quarterback mediocrity, and everybody's just trying to go, okay, who can I get that's kind of maybe better than that guy and would kind of work with our system with the other pieces we have. There's much more to choose from running backs and wide receivers and tight ends. And if you can get an offensive line that'll protect them, and that's a problem we're having too, is that Teddy's getting just annihilated. He got hit 17 times, a couple games ago against the Raiders. So
we should
think that's where, there's a lot of poopy teams out there because of the
There is. Fair enough.
Washington is bottom of the league in attendance, and FedEx Field often feels like an away game. So Mile High should just be like a home game for the Washington players. What is the experience there, and what's that atmosphere like for?
Oh my gosh, Nathan, it's awesome. And I mean, I'm a homer. I'm a native. I grew up here. I've grown up watching Bronco football my whole life, and so I'm a super biased individual as far as a sideline reporter goes. But it's pretty awesome. And last year was so dismal when we couldn't have fans in the stands. We had. For the first couple games, there were, families, there were 500 people or 2,500 people. And then when they said, okay, nobody in the stands, I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm doing sidelines, and the only way I could do sidelines last year was I had to stand in the front row of the stands, which was, I had from the 50 to the end zone, and I could just go back and forth, just, all the way through. But it was bad because I couldn't be by the guys and hear and see what's going on. So that wasn't very fun. I got a better view because it is hard from the sideline sometimes to see what's going on. So I could see a little bit better up there. But what was really weird, the first game that we had where there weren't fans in the stands, at halftime is my only time to go use the restroom. So I go up to the concourse. It's dark because all the lights are on motion sensors and there's been nobody around.
Right.
I open up the bathroom door, locked. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to go up to the press box. And our elevators are in these coves where there aren't windows, and again, no lights. And so I'm waving my arms like a mad woman trying to get lights to go on so I can see where I'm going. And I'm like, what is going on? There's an NFL game happening right here.
Right.
There's no lights on in this concourse. So it was just really weird and depressing and just gross. So it's been so fun this year having all the fans back. They are loud. They start early. It'll be even more so this Sunday because the sheriff's in town, and he's always in town. He lives here, but he's at the game. People will see him. They're going to unveil his pillar for the Ring of Fame outside in the South Stands before the game, and then he'll be at halftime honored. So everybody will, stay around in their seats. Mike Shanahan had the same thing happen at the Raider game where he was honored at halftime because his name just went up in our Ring of Fame. So it's pretty cool. And they're loud. And I just actually ordered a brand new IFB because I'm getting to the point where I can't hear the broadcast because it gets so loud sometimes, especially when we're on, the other team's on defense. It's third down and they're going crazy. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
So jealous.
Yeah, no joke.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So
was that a little too much?
You said, I saw a thing on Twitter. I think you guys have lost 8 linebackers this year. Was that correct? Or is that different?
It's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, like I mentioned with Josie Jewell, Alexander Johnson, Mintz just went on IR. Yeah, I got the injury report right in front of me. And we're bringing in guys. Oh, and Malik Reed, who's one of my favorite ones. He's limited. We're bringing in guys every week. I'm like, I have never heard of this guy before. Literally 3 new guys. And so they just traded and they had 2 guys. They just brought in one from Minnesota, one from the Rams. They're not sure. One got here yesterday. The other one got here on Monday. So they're not sure if either one of them will play on Sunday. But I mean, that's to where we're making trades, not out of, out of total necessity, not out of trying to, oh, hey, we're in this great position. We can make a trade to get better. We need them because we have nobody.
So we have nobody too at the linebacker position as well. So now that we're both injury ridden and just really bad.
Equal footing.
How do you see the Denver Broncos team right now? Where is their ceiling? Are these injuries super serious to where you guys are just going to be fighting for a draft position, or do you guys really feel that you can make a push for some postseason football action?
I think if we can get some of our guys back, in particular, like a Jerry Jeudy and an Alberto, if we can get some of those offensive weapons back, I think we might be able to make some things happen. If you look at the defense, I mean, I was kind of comparing, like I said, I was comparing the numbers with the defenses. Net yards per game, Broncos are still 5th in the league, and Washington's 29th. There was one where you guys, I mean, you can't get any lower. So points per game, 30 points per game. Washington's 32nd. I'm like, well, that's about as bad as it gets, right?
Yes, you are correct.
I have to check those 32 teams. And Broncos points per game, 18. So kind of middle of the pack there. And so they've still got some really good defensive stats. We've got some, but I mean, we've got to make sure that, Vaughn needs to play. Vaughn needs to play better. He hasn't had a sack in a while. He was the September AFC Defensive Player of the Month. And then really in October, hasn't quite gotten to the quarterback like, he needs to or wants to. And now if he's injured. So it kind of a TBD. I think this game will be a huge test for them to see, okay, how are we with some of these new pieces? Are these new guys going to be able to play? And how are we going to, and can our secondary, keep up? I mean, there's just some weird things that happen. Like one time Vaughn was on a wide receiver and we're like, why is Vaughn on a wideout? And, where's stuff breaking down? So we've got some breakdowns happening too, which shouldn't be when your head coach is a defensive guru, also calling the plays on defense. You got to make sure that that's buttoned up.
Also familiar with that concept.
Maybe it's out of his league now. Maybe defenses are too,
like it's passed them by.
Yeah, passed them by.
Well, yeah, you never know. I mean, that's, when young blood comes in, you always go, oh, wow, and they've got different thoughts. And then the old school guys can't quite keep up sometimes. And I mean, the whole discussion here in Denver with Vic is, should he actually be the head coach and managing the game and on the sidelines and calling all the defensive plays, or can he be more of a manager and let Ed Donatel, who's our defensive coordinator, call the plays? So it's that whole struggle. And I mean, there's so many teams that go through that, where you've got your head coach who is very one-sided to one side of the ball, takes over on that side, but then forgets to manage the clock and loses all the timeouts because somebody's told him that he should challenge a play, which he shouldn't have. I mean, I'm standing right there and I'm like, oh God, why is he throwing the red flag? No.
Oh, that sounds so familiar. I promise you. The Spider-Man meme of like looking at each other.
Exactly.
That's us on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we might actually have a good entertaining game. Broncos are 3-point favorites last I checked, so it's pretty close.
Okay.
So you took a couple of shots there at Washington, totally warranted. We
they were
totally
just
understand.
Facts. They're...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But you didn't have to bring them up. You didn't have to bring them up, but you did. That's great.
Okay, I got you.
But totally warranted, though. Let me say that. Totally warranted. But we like to ask all of our guests from the opposing teams of that week the same question. What is your view from the outside? What is your view of the Washington football organization?
Oh, wow.
On the field and off the field. Like,
just kind of
as a whole.
How do you look at us? What is your understanding?
That's loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the perception, I think, as I read, more stuff's coming out because they're in NFL owner meetings right now. And there were a lot of hot headlines yesterday with what Roger Goodell said too. So I think the perception is there's a lot of problems front office wise, I would say. I mean, the investigation to have 650,000 emails and the only thing that comes out are some that John Gruden wrote. There's probably a little bit more to it than that. And so I think the perception there is that there's been some things going on for quite a while that, didn't get stopped at some point along the way. And then what's the product been on the field? I think sometimes the front office overshadows what's going on the field. I think when Mike Shanahan was there, it was a bit of a different product. And we were interested because Mike Shanahan is, he spent a lot of time here in Denver. So a lot of people kept track of what was going on there. But did you know, here's a fun fact for you. And this is not another shot. I'm just bringing this up.
I was about to say, I hope this is a fun fact.
It's a fun fact. It was 8 years ago today, October 27th of 2013, that Washington visited here in Denver. That's the last time they played here in Denver. And the Broncos had 38 unanswered points and overcame 4 turnovers to win. What was the final there? It was 40.
All right. Good night. Good night, Susie. Appreciate you having on. We'll see you on Sunday.
God,
I missed the fun part of this.
Yeah, what was the fun part?
Today that happened.
Oh,
that's the fun part.
Well, it was kind of fun. I mean, I remember that game too because
had a lot of fun.
There were 4 turnovers, and it was Mike Shanahan. I think that was his first year. It was the first time he'd come back here anyway when he was with the Redskins. So
what a homecoming.
Yeah.
It would probably been his second or third year, but yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay, but first time he'd come here.
But his first time back to Denver.
Yeah, 45-21. That was. But you guys still have the Super Bowl in 87.
That's right.
So,
don't forget it.
There's that. They talk about unanswered points there. We can bring up those unanswered points.
That's right.
All right, Susie, give me a score prediction realistically. I know you're pretty biased, as you said earlier. Give me a score prediction for
Sunday. It's going to be an entertaining game, so I hope this is a good score.
Yeah, and you know what? I think
a little why afterwards too.
I'm hoping we get to see some points on the board. I am going to say, I'll keep it kind of close. I'm going to say it's going to be like a 24-21 Denver.
Okay.
Got Denver, huh? Wow.
Right.
I always have Denver.
I know,
so
right?
Do you even on the games you're not going to win? Do you still pick Denver?
Yeah, I pretty much do.
Yeah.
I'm just
she's a homer. That's good.
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
always have that eternal hope. I'm just always in hope. And plus, it makes my job easier when they win. So I always just kind of, I get the first interview off the field, and I'm like, it's so much easier when it's a win.
So much more fun.
How'd you get that helmet signed real fast? How'd you get that signed?
Oh, bought it at an auction.
Oh,
yeah.
So you ain't got
clout
clout like that. Like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no, but I've had John. I mean, I used to host John's show. I mean, I know
That's
John,
cool.
but I think way back when, before I got to doing what I was doing, we bought it at an auction, and then later I was like, man, I could have saved the money and probably had him sign it.
Yeah, right.
Show.
Hey, so if they end up going through the whole sale and everything, all that, is John going to be a part of the new group or whatever that's going to stick around?
That's an interesting question. So what we're hearing is there's a couple of interested groups, one that John is a part of and one that Peyton's a part of. Now, whether that's really for real, I don't know, but separate groups, different investors, and somebody needs to have a third of whatever it sells for, like in cash. So somebody, and they're saying it might be $3 billion. So somebody needs to have $1 billion. And there aren't a lot of people that have $1 billion just to throw down on a football team. So those investors are going to have to be some pretty big heavy hitters. And so we'll see. But I mean, it's going to go for a lot. And I mean, if I'm the bowling kids, I'm like, hey, just split it 7 ways. I'm taking it. No more fighting. Let's go.
I'll take $5 for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Are you team Manning or team Elway in that? If that's a true battle.
Oh, that's a really good question. So I think so based on Peyton, and if you guys watched his Hall of Fame speech, I mean, he was, to me, lobbying for some future position in the NFL. The way he talked about, football, how it helped him, how it needs to be the future. We need to get our kids, involved. This and that. He coaches his son's Marshall's flag football team. That's very well known. We have people all around. They're like, oh yeah, I went up against Marshall's football team, and there's Peyton on the sidelines coaching.
That's cool.
So I think he's very invested in making football and the NFL, going to the next level. And John would probably be the same way. John would probably be more hands-off, I bet, as an owner than Peyton might be. Peyton is very calculated, likes to know everything that is going on. So I think he would be a very in tune owner, very hands-on, maybe not like a Mark Cuban type, but kind of like that, where it's like, he's there, he's a part of it. It's getting run well. I mean, and Pat Bowlen was like that too. Pat was in every single day. He worked out in the weight room every day. He was a triathlete. And so he'd go in and work out with all the players, and they loved him. But he wasn't so much involved that he was making all the decisions. Man. Pat knew where his place was, but he was around, and the expectation was we are always in here to win a championship. And that hasn't necessarily been that it's missed since Pat's been gone. And I think that's something that needs to come back, where it is understood that when you walk in those doors, the expectation is championship, no matter what. That's it.
Oh God! Why is it so hard for our organization to be like this?
It's hard for a lot of them. I don't know. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Like I'm being like a serious and also like.
Yeah, if those transactions,
it makes you wonder if they're in it for the money, for the tax write-off, for the what's the end game of owning an NFL
title,
team? Not to get to a championship. What is it?
That's what
just
it
to
is
say
here
you
in
own
DC.
a football team,
so it's
right?
Dan the Fan Snyder, who may need to get out of DC here at some point.
You guys
so
hiring?
Maybe he puts his name into.
No way.
You guys hiring?
I'm not taking that on.
No way.
He's got a lot of money. He's got billions of dollars in his pocket.
That one may not go very far here.
Probably not. Probably doesn't go very far here either. But we appreciate you, Susie, joining us here on Ref the District. This is Susie Ward-Ginn, who is the Broncos sideline reporter. You'll have to watch the game and see if you can't spot her on the sideline. I'm definitely going to be watching out for that myself.
I think I'll be bundled up. I think it's supposed to be a little nippy on Sunday, so I'll be in a big jacket.
Okay.
Double, triple layer, perhaps.
You've been a lot of fun, Susie. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, guys. Yeah, it was fun being on. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming out. And when we come down, it'll be our cool down with some Dalla and some other DC sports. Thank you, Susie, again.
Thanks, Susie.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Great time there with Susie. I got to switch off the big screen. I'm not deserving of the big screen the way that
Susie was awesome, right?
Bro, we're gonna lose on Sunday just from the organizational standpoint. just to hear how smoothly operated, how championship mentality is in the building. Like we're gonna lose just off of that.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, she's still just after all these years being a part of it, she's still upbeat about their organization. Bro. and their
Like,
team.
They've lost 4 games in a row. You couldn't tell by the way.
I know. And we're over here going, oh, God, we got another game this week.
I asked about the experience, and she was just like, oh, it's amazing. And I'm like, if
she
only,
had a cool story.
Only.
The story I can remember from our stadium, the most recent one I can remember is, the water pipes busting on some fans during the game.
Right.
Yeah. That was great. Hey, those fans got upgraded to suites, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, and you remember your guy from the Tom Brady football thing? You see he got a Bitcoin as well?
Yeah, which is
all the
worth
other stuff he got?
$62,000. Yeah.
Yeah, which
My
is
man
going to
is
be,
set.
in like 5 years, it's going to be worth $500,000.
All right. He's getting his. He's getting his.
Nah,
all right. Well, let's stick with
the
Washington football team talk, and then we'll move over to the cool down. We were doing a lot of joking with the ownership stuff, and we did tweet out about the fact that we were going to actually talk about the Dan Snyder, issue. So let's go ahead and bring that up right now.
Okay.
Roger Goodell comes out. The NFL owners are all having their meeting, and he comes out and he essentially says, Dan Snyder's received his punishment, or he's been held accountable. Do you two feel like that's been the case?
No. A measly $10 million fine to the organization and not Dan personally, I guess what the reports are, is not enough. He's still allowed to show up to games, which he has done already this year. He is still allowed to do things affiliated with the team, which he's been doing, quote unquote, behind the scenes. Putting Tanya Snyder was not the move that was made in the light that he thought. It was to save his tail from getting in more trouble and not, taking the blame directly to his face. So no, I do not agree with that. Like I said, he gets to do whatever he wants, still show up in a hoodie to the games, So no, a $10 million fine, and they're withholding the reports. Like, no, he's not been accountable at all.
No, of course. He hasn't been anywhere close to accountable. And 2 points on that is that, one, like Trevor was saying, he's still everywhere. You see him everywhere. And and what we talked about before a while back is he goes home every night and he eats dinner and goes to bed every night with the co-CEO or COO, whatever, right? So he's going to obviously have an influence on how the teams operates day to day. So to say that he's on the sidelines and not operating is a farce. It's not happening. And what we can't forget in all of this, who pays Roger Goodell? Where does he get his salary?
Owners.
The owners pay him.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
He's not going to turn around and just start saying Dan hasn't been accountable and we need to investigate further. No, because then he's going to be out of his $43 million a year paycheck. There's no way he ever do anything like that.
Nope.
So of course, no, he's not accountable. He's not.
Mark Davis came out today, and Mark Davis did say, "Hey, I think they should dig further into these emails. Maybe perhaps a little bit of spite there because he lost his head coach,
which he didn't want to do.
Right?
Which I guarantee you he didn't want to do. So
no, he didn't want to do that.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I'm with you guys. The whole thing when this came down, right, and Dan stepped away. It was everything that what the team said. This was his choice. The fine wasn't to Dan. The fine was to the team. So it was very interesting that the choice of words that he was held accountable. That was to me was what struck me was just like, wait a minute. Okay, now we're saying that he is held accountable. So it just seems like maybe the communication isn't there between our organization, the Washington football team, in the NFL, and
or
maybe
it's there, or the communication is there, and the NFL is choosing not to do anything about it because he gets paid by the owners. So they're going to do whatever they're going to do, regardless. It's the NFL.
A truer statement has never been said. They're going to do whatever.
And I hate to be like that, but
well, that's true. It's not something that all of a sudden the NFL is powerful and they're going to. It's always been that way, and big businesses have always been that way, and there's really nothing you can do about it. There's only two things that can affect ownership of an organization. Really, there's only two things. First one would be a player revolt, right? Where the players just say, we're not playing for this owner, like they did with the Clippers a few years ago, when they basically said, we're not playing for Donald Sterling. And eventually they had to figure out a way to get rid of him, and they did.
Yeah.
Right. Or I think the Reds kind of did that with Marge Schott. It was way before Trevor and Nathan were even born.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, the Reds did that with their owner way back in the day.
Okay.
But also that's one thing. That's not going to happen,
head, Trevor.
That's not going to happen in football. There's 53 players, and they're not going to all agree on the same thing. They can't even agree on life-saving vaccines, so they're not going to agree on as a group to boycott a game.
Across the bow there, man.
Yeah, that was nice. But you're exactly right, bro.
Right. So the other thing, obviously, is money. You go after the sponsors, which people are trying to do. But those sponsors, it's not like some guy sitting in an office at Coca-Cola and he's saying, we've got this letter that says that the Washington football team is a bad organization and we should not give them any more money. Okay. It just doesn't work that way. There's too many lobbyists. There's too much money going around to all these different people. Not happening unless you get a huge groundswell. And that could be starting, but I don't see it.
And Roger Goodell also said that the anonymous, I can never say this word.
Anonymous?
The anonymity?
Anonymity is top priority for everybody affected to those in that report, which is true. But I think the ones that are advocating for it to be released or whatever, maybe just release a few snippets or something from those two stories, just so the public can actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to release the whole report due to the A word I can't say, but the ones that are advocating come to some agreement where you can put it out, because it does need to be put out. Something needs to be put out. Something.
Well, to piggyback on that a little bit, in that I've listened to a few of the podcasts of the people involved with the investigation, their firsthand accounts. Okay. They did not ask the NFL for anonymity. They asked, or they were given anonymity by the investigation, so that, for example, Dan Snyder cannot say, oh, this person said something bad about our organization, well, I'm going to retaliate.
Kind of like whistleblower protection is what it was.
That's what they were saying.
So,
not to the actual report to the NFL. Once that goes to the NFL, they're like, I've already come out and told you everything that's happened. I'm out in the public. I'm doing news reports. Go ahead. You can say my name. You don't need to keep it confidential. So he's kind of lying about. That's what they do. They're protecting each other.
It's a lot of spin. I'm surprised he didn't go with "say my name" there for a second there, Trev.
I'm not gonna answer that one. Oh, good one, Nathan. Dang.
I know that one.
Go with that one. Okay. We also talked about this on our Twitter. He's not going to lose his ownership over, I think, this particular scandal yet. As it stands right now.
Right.
To be fair, he also won't lose his scandal over what I'm about to say next. But this is what he is more likely to lose his ownership over, and that is the loss of revenue from the attendance, from the fact that there's nobody coming to the games. I'm not saying it's like a 1 year off thing. I'm saying it's routine. That if the team continues to have an issue bringing people into the stadium and also people tuning into the games, that hits the NFL where it actually cares, which is their pocketbook. And that's where Dan can lose his ownership. But that's going to also take a little bit. That's not going to be. And to be fair, we've talked about this as well. Dan has put people in positions where we like them, right? We like Jason Wright.
Yeah.
We like Ron Rivera. Now, things aren't going quite the way we thought they were with Ron. And Jason did have a misstep with the retirement ceremony this way, actually. But we still like those people and we like them in the positions. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can turn around some of these things to include this culture that was so bad for so long under his ownership. And I think that he should be held accountable and responsible because it was under his watch. Whether or not he knew it was happening or not, that's just the way leadership
guilty
works.
by association. Yep.
Yeah, that's how leadership works.
And so that's the point. You don't get to feign ignorance. It was underneath your leadership, and whether or not he believes it or not, he appointed and he stepped back and let Bruce run the show. He was the one who appointed Bruce, and if that's the way Bruce ran the show, he was at fault for one, putting him there. And then what we'll find out, I think, as more and more of these discussions happen, is whether or not he did hear about it from some of them, from the employees. But we'll find out more about that as we go along.
I agree with you with that fan attendance thing too, because if you notice on Twitter, a lot of the team now have their reps. They're like advertising gold packages for up to 10 people, special pricing, and then they're adding these VIP seats and tables.
Tickets are available. And while we're talking about
adding more things to try to get fans to come, and it's not working.
While we're talking about this, we had a message out from someone who we've tailgated with in our lot. Shout out to Brendan and Ryan who tailgate with us, and they've been season long fans. Actually, I picked the Riggins countdown trivia because Brendan happens to be a big time Riggins fan.
Mm-hmm.
They're done. They're not coming to another game. They did backtrack. They said maybe potentially they'll see, but right now they're just they don't want to come to another game because the team just isn't putting in the effort, and they just can't justify coming out to the games. These are season ticket holders, but we've seen that even with a friend of the show, John Wood, who was coming up for preseason games during the time where the team had promise, but driving up from North Carolina. Now he has some other issues that, some health concerns and stuff that are going on as well. But he's even said, even if he's healthy, he's not coming up, and now another season ticket holder from Delaware who has to drive like an hour, or so, but his son Ryan is just down the street, like an hour or so down, hour train ride down the street. So it's not like these people are, no one wants to come to the games when the experience isn't what Mile High is, right? That sounded great, having that many fans there, having that kind of, that kind of chance and all those things happening. We are missing that at FedEx, and that's not on the fans. I know that's been kind of back and forth on Twitter with some people and blaming the fandom and stuff like that. Here's the thing. The product on the field needs to get better.
Yep.
That's
bottom line.
Fixes everything.
Bottom line.
Okay.
Yeah. Fixes everything.
Now, you be a fan. We say this at the end of the show. Be a fan. You be a fan however you want to be a fan. Okay. Whether or not that's the hog farmers and you're head to toe in burgundy and gold, or if that's you at the house just watching the game by yourself. However you want to be a fan, you be a fan. And if that means right now you can't support the team because of what's going on, that's fine. I support that. I completely understand. This team is very difficult. We've all been lifelong, or most of us have been lifelong fans. So it's understandable that after years of essentially abuse on a relationship standpoint, it's not something you want to, right? Stoner, you came out and said you got ash burned, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a fun thing to go over. At least not as fun as Dalla Dalla, which we'll transition to right now.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Nope. Not going to give you that time.
Let me just say.
Go ahead.
I'll say half a sentence, and then you guys tell me if you want me to finish it.
Okay.
I think you guys are fundamentally wrong about that. All right. Do you want me to go on? Or should we go to Dalla Dalla?
No, let's go Dalla Dalla. I'll be fundamentally wrong.
We're going to go Dalla Dalla, or are we going to go?
I'll be wrong. I'm good with being wrong.
Fundamentally wrong about what?
About the empty stadiums is going to cause the ownership.
Not the
to sell or
total
whatever.
cause, but it's definitely a playing part.
It has almost no part of it. It has almost no. I mean, it has like a perception view of the team, but it has no part on Dan's bottom line. It doesn't. They have been this way for 20 years. Let's just say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say the first 10 years that they were still bringing people in all the time because there was still hope. The last 10 years, their attendance has been woeful. They've covered seats with advertisements to hide that nobody is buying seats. They've been doing this for 10 years. And Dan Snyder just bought the most expensive yacht in the history of the world until Jeff Bezos gets finished. He has the most expensive.
He's gonna buy the team, but anyway.
Why? But why? Why was he able to buy that? Because of the TV contracts. That's where all
he's
the money.
making money.
They're still like the fourth or fifth highest valued franchise in the entire NFL. As bad as they've been.
Yeah, number 5, I think.
Attendance does not have that big of an effect. Like I said, it does have an effect when you look at the empty stadium and the product on the field and all that stuff.
NFL's not happy with it.
Yeah, but I don't think it has any bearing on whether or not Dan Snyder will be the owner.
All right.
0.
Check out our friend Colin from at Colin _WFT News.
Yes.
Check out his post. He actually linked it under our latest Twitter thing. So he had a great thing there.
Did the NFL come out and say they're unhappy, or did Colin say the NFL should be unhappy because of this low attendance?
No, the NFL actually there's an actual news articles out there that the NFL talked to the 4 teams with the lowest attendance rates, one of those being Washington football team.
Okay. So, I mean, they're concerned for sure. They're not going to get rid of Dan Snyder if this continues for another 10 years.
This is spicy.
They're just not. It's not.
Oh, we got a paragraph in the comment. Holy cow.
Yeah, we got a paragraph. Shout out to Dark Sage in
Dark
Twitch.
Sage? Put your old man glasses on, Stone, to read
my
that
concern
one.
about empty stadiums is we know how much influence big market teams have over sports leagues and getting what they want. For a lot of these teams, fans bring in tickets and sales. I worry that a lot of the big market teams will try to use their influence to get the NFL to cave or give in to what they want in regards to COVID and the fans. And another paragraph here from him. I see it all the time in baseball. The big market teams have so much influence. They basically can dictate to the MLB what they want, and the MLB will do what they ask because of how much power they have over smaller markets.
And is this a big market or a small market?
Technically, it's a big market.
It's a big market.
It's a big market.
And
they're not making Dan sell because of poor attendance.
This conversation
and the team is not going to move either because there'll be a
never.
franchise here in a heartbeat because of the market. Because if there's hope for this team, for a team here to be successful, the fans are going to flock to it. And if that means Dan 100%. moves his franchise away and another franchise moves in, people are going to flock to that franchise in hopes that it's going to be what the Washington
but he's
football
not doing
team
that either,
once
right?
was.
I'm standing.
Oh, he's not moving that.
We all know he's not doing that either.
He
I don't want him to move the team. I'm already 3.5 hours away. I don't want to drive further away to go to a game to watch.
He's moving it to Lexington.
Hey, we'll take it.
But you're talking about Denver also, and how they basically always got a full stadium and everything too. But again, that's the only game in town, and I use that kind of very loosely. They're the only NFL team within hundreds of miles in all directions. And so you grow up all over that area being a fan. We've talked about this. I'm 8 miles from Baltimore's M&T Bank Stadium, right? Philadelphia is an hour and a half away. Carolina's not that far. New York, Boston, they're all within this area. Denver's got nobody around. And so they're always going to basically have fans in their stadium.
Yeah, they have an entire state to pull from.
I bet you if it was a home game, we'd have half of the Denver fans, no matter what.
All
right, let's go to dollar. I'm getting.
We're not
going to talk about
dollar.
I mean, caps
about
and
caps
Liz.
and Liz.
Let's do dollar, and then we'll switch to the caps and
all
right.
Rupees.
Sorry, I had to say that. I'm sorry I derailed us for an extra 5 minutes.
I mean, you didn't have to because we didn't say finish the sentence, but it's okay.
I didn't tell him to. I just asked what were we wrong about, just asking specifically the subject, and then he went on a stoner diet.
Hey, you knew I was going to, right?
A stoner spree is what we're calling it. A stoner spree. Yeah.
Stoner spree. What's Trev go on? A Trevor talk?
Yes. My Trev talk.
Trev talk.
And Nathan's
come
nonsense.
to our Trev talk.
Nathan's nonsense.
That's often what comes out of my mouth.
What is mine? A stoner
spree. Come on,
stoner
man.
spree.
I like it.
Stoner spree.
Right.
Trev talk.
Speaking of spree,
stoner spree or stoner story?
No, I like the spree.
The spree, yeah,
because it sounds like dirt, like
a
spree.
I don't want to say
illegal.
Yeah, we don't want to say we don't want to say killing spree, but that's what it is.
Right, exactly.
All right, dollar.
All right, who wants to go? Does anybody have anything off the top of their head? Or
yep.
Okay, you do. All right, Trev.
Chase Young records 2 sacks Sunday. Look, Nathan wants to take it. I know he does. He wants to come with me. I know he does. That's his go-go from last week. He wants to.
I want to go with you. I want to go with
Stoner.
you, Trev. But
come with me.
We need somebody to take the bet, though. So if Nathan's not taking it, then we got nothing.
I bet EP will probably take it just because.
I'm gonna take the bet. I don't think he gets 2. I do think he has a strong impact on the game, and I do think Washington football team ends up with 3, possibly 4 sacks on the game.
Is that your dollar? Okay. Is that your dollar?
You gonna take three sacks?
Wait a minute. What
happened? No. Okay, hold on.
I'm not gonna say
2. Mine's 2 sacks for Chase.
2 sacks. I'm taking that though. I'm taking.
I'll
take that one.
All right. Yeah. Oh man, I'm aligning myself with Trevor. He's like the worst better in the world. But I got you on this one.
You. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Chase 2+ sacks, 2+ sacks. Nathan says no. Okay.
That plus always kills me, man. I never.
It just means at least.
Okay.
At least.
Right.
So if he gets 3 sacks, you still win.
If he gets 2, I still win, right?
Just at least 2.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. All
right, Nathan. What are you saying? 4 overall?
No, I said 3 overall. I said possibly 4, but I'm not. I've been letting you inch closer, Stoner, because you've egged me into making riskier bets. Okay.
Well, I
still want to win this thing. No. I've been making bets. You guys haven't been taking my bets. That's a big difference.
Yeah,
all right?
True.
All right. So let's go with the defense records 2 turnovers.
Okay.
I mean, I like it, so I'm not taking.
I like it too. I'm not taking it because I like it.
I mean, go out on a limb. I mean, 2 turnovers is pretty much average for most.
I'm not going on a limb. I'm winning. I'm winning.
Right, exactly.
That is true. He is winning
He's
with these conservative bets. Yeah.
I'm winning.
Listen, you guys.
You want to talk to me? I'm winning.
Stoner,
you can't
bring the heat, Stoner.
I'm going to bring the heat. Right
Stoner, what do you say about the king?
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Yeah. All right. You've been missing a lot,
Stoner.
You gotta come at me.
Trev.
No, I don't, bro.
You don't know where that's from. Come on, that's Omar from The Wire.
I don't even watch The Wire, bro.
Oh, wow. I don't even know who you are anymore. Okay. So, yeah, that's definitely deletable if you don't watch. The Wire is one of the greatest shows in the history of television.
I know. That's only because you live in Baltimore. That's the reason.
It's not. I watched it before I lived in Baltimore. So,
all right. Well,
fantastic. It is a great show. Seriously, watch the show. $1 Stoner.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Tress Way averages 53 yards per punt. Net average.
I'll take that. I love me some Tress Way.
I'll take that. I don't
think he averages that.
Tress Way.
I think it's gonna be more.
53 net. You think it's gonna be
55.
more than?
Yeah, 55.
Well, that's why you shouldn't take it. You should go with me.
I'll go with
mine's
you.
At least 53.
Oh yeah, I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for your help, Thunder. See, he could have easily just took my money like that. Thanks, Coach.
That's 2 in a row.
All right, I got another one.
I got another one.
Okay.
You ready? See, I'm not Mr. Conservative like Nathan, who's just like,
I know. Nonsense.
Taylor Heineke will throw the ball at least 6 times.
I gave a good stat. He barely made that 35.
Bro, he's got all the money though. He's got all the money.
You ready? I know,
but I'm ready.
But I'm trying to make it interesting, right?
Okay.
Kyle Allen takes a snap.
Woo! I like that one, boy. I'll take it. Ain't gonna happen, but I like it. But it ain't gonna happen. But I'll take it. I'll take that. It's not happening.
Are you? So it's not. You're taking it because it's not happening.
Yeah.
So it means I'm siding with Trevor.
Mm-hmm. All right. Nathan,
like how this is now that's synonymous with losing money at this point.
You trying to lose some money? Jump with me, bro.
Yeah, Kyle Allen's not seeing. I think that Taylor Heineke plays well enough. Taylor Heineke throws for 300 yards.
That's your bet?
At least 300.
At least 300 yards.
I know, man. It's
tell me. Go ahead without looking. I'm going to look this up. Tell me exactly how many times this season has this man thrown for 300 yards?
Probably once.
All of them.
Probably game one.
Probably all of them.
I think just game one, maybe against Atlanta.
I think it's.
Let's say maybe twice.
Remember, he only has, what did I say, 1,600 yards?
1,607 games. Yeah, it's only
a
little over 220 or something like that. Average.
Yeah, 1658. You're trying to tell me that 300 yards is not a... No, I'm not letting you guys goad me into giving you more yardage.
All right, I'll take it.
I'll take it too.
Heineke, you're going with me?
Yeah.
He throws for at least 300 yards. For the record, against Green Bay, 268. Kansas City, 182. 248 against New Orleans. 290 against Atlanta. 212 against Buffalo.
Yeah, it happened.
Keep going, because I'm pretty sure against
336 against New York Giants and 122 against the Chargers.
Nah, he ain't doing that.
For 300
and 300 and something against Tampa in the playoff game in the wild.
Oh, I remember that game.
36 or something like that.
We almost had him. Almost.
Almost.
All right, I got one.
Yeah. All right, you ready? Go ahead, Trev.
Dax Milne gets 3
targets. I'll take it
on Sunday.
3 targets?
Yeah.
I'm waving that one off.
I'm taking it. Milne 3+ targets.
Get 3 targets, but he won't because he won't look his way. But
Stoner's taking it.
I'm waving that one off.
Why?
Right, got any more? We got a bunch. You got any more?
No, let's do score.
Let's see. Trev, Stoner, Trev, and Nathan. Nathan has one bet.
One bet?
Yeah.
All right. Let me. I'm only on that. I'm really only on there once. I thought I had 2 on there. I've agreed with Trev on one, and then I just made that bet
for making a bet.
Oh, for
all the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't he do a free sack one too?
Yeah, but
no one took that one. So Stoner didn't.
And he did like a Taylor Heineke throws it 6 times or something.
No, you said that.
Oh.
All right, give me a good one, Nathan. Give us some off the wall crazy.
Give you guys another one. Let's see.
Give us a good one. Come on.
I got one too.
Jarrett Patterson, in honor of in honor of the other JP, he scores his first NFL touchdown.
Oh wow!
Hey! I'll take that too. It ain't happening, but I like that one.
Trev, stop betting with me. I'd appreciate if you stopped betting with me.
All right, I'm with Nathan on this one.
No, you already.
No.
I'm taking. Yeah, I'm going against it.
All right, you got one more, Trev?
Danny Johnson records an interception.
Yeah,
I'm taking that bet. That ain't happening.
I'm done. Well, if it happens, I'm gonna be all up in the group chat. $1.
We better clip this so that way Trev has it, so that way he can share it if it happens.
All right, scores.
Washington 31, Denver 17.
If that happens, I do the next show with no clothes except for a pair of underwear.
Let's go!
31-17 Washington? You don't think it's happening?
31-17, no.
Oh, man.
Point win.
Yeah, we're going to run the ball more.
26-20 Washington football team.
Okay. I have to do this just for the sake of... Just for the sake
You can't have the sweep. You can't have the sweep.
Can't have a sweep. I can't. We can't do it. Because it never works.
Yeah, we did it last week.
I mean, not in Washington's favor. Last week we all had Green Bay, and Green Bay won because that was just obvious. All right, so I'm going to go 23-22 Denver.
We've done a lot of 1-point predictions.
Even though technically I think it's going to be 23-22 Washington, but for the dollar, I'm going. So no matter what,
that's
I'm
not ever
right.
counted on the dollar, right? that doesn't go for $1.
No,
it's just a score prediction.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But I'm covered now, so I've given it both ways. So no matter what, I can say I'm right. Isn't that
All right.
awesome?
Well, that's going to conclude the Washington football team talk. Let's move real quick to the Capitals.
Oh, go Caps, go!
All right, Stoner, give us an update on how the Capitals have been doing since last week.
All right. Well, overall, I mean, they're 4-0-2 in 6 games, and that means that they have 2 overtime losses, which don't count as regular losses. So they've gotten points in every game.
Right.
Ovechkin is leading the league in scoring. I don't know how he's still doing it, but he does it year in, year out. He's now 5th on the all-time scoring list, and I think he's like 4 goals from taking over 4th all-time.
Okay.
He's been amazing. We say it every week. He's the George Washington on the Mount Rushmore of DC sports. He is the #1 greatest athlete in this area ever. And so they've been playing very well. I mean, they defensively, they weren't so great against Ottawa, but they won 7-5. Still, they're 4-0-2, off to an excellent start. They're playing right now. Don't give me any spoilers because I'm recording it.
Okay. The Wizards are also playing.
Yes, sir.
Trev, can you give us an update on the Wiz? Not the current game.
Not current, not tonight.
How has the first week gone?
I do believe we started off 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then
2-1.
We went to then we saw Brooklyn, and then we took an L to Brooklyn. Montrezl Harrell came on the air and said he needs to be better, needs to be high energy all the time. That's good that he recognized that himself. That means he knows what he knows what to attack and bring some success. But just from the first 3 games, it's a totally different Wizards team, you guys. It looks like an actual functioning basketball team. They still got a long way to go as far as chemistry goes and rotations go and everything like that. But I mean, it's a complete 360 from the previous regimes that we've seen, even with John Wall here, Russell Westbrook here, everybody who's been here to pair along with Russell Westbrook. It just seems like he just needs role players and not another superstar to help this team reach what they want to do. So, hey, I'm kind of optimistic right now. Except for Bertan.
Right, yeah. You'll never. Well, I won't say never. I'm going to take a page from. I won't take a page from Tomlin's.
Yeah, never say never, but never.
Never going to be on Bertan's on page. But the Wizards, honestly, I'm excited. I think all of our bets on them being over the win prediction at the beginning of the season, where they're like 31 wins or 32 wins, whatnot. I think that's looking pretty safe, as long as injuries don't take up to effect to pull Stoners into there. They are playing the Celtics right now. I won't give that update because I know Stoner's also recording that.
Yep.
But
it's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a late night tonight.
You TiVo, bro. Your name is TiVo.
I do it all the time.
It's exciting. We're going to dedicate more time to them next week. We do stream live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Shout out to those who jumped in the comment section. We got Redskins Weekly and Kimber, who both gave us score predictions. My mom went with 21 for Washington and 17 for the Broncos. Redskins Weekly went 21-24 either way.
That's
So, right. With that particular name, we're going to say that you went for Washington football team.
Yeah.
All right.
So we also put this on your favorite audio platform, so you can listen to us anywhere that you get your podcasts. And I've got a hand raised, so I'm going to go ahead and stop right here.
I love it.
I'm going to pass it to Stoner.
Yeah, I just wanted to promote some amazing content that we have coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
First, I think we can say this. I think we're locked in. But on next Wednesday's show, we're going to have JP Flame from the Junkies on the show.
Shout out JP.
And not just he's going to be on here, but he's got something to talk about, which is going to be awesome. So we got that. And then we can't officially promote the other stuff, but we've got some content that's going to be coming out that everybody who's listening to this and who's not listening to this or watching this is going to be interested in. It's going to be awesome. Just wanted to say that. stay tuned. We've got some amazing content coming in the next couple.
We just dropped After the Whistle with Renee Washington yesterday on YouTube. Go check that out. She was great. She's real, authentic, planted, not buried. I said that. Watch the interview. You know why I said that. Also, do I have anything else to say?
I don't know. I got a couple more things to say. So. All right, are we going to pass it back to me?
Yeah, we're good. It's a long show. Awesome. I'm loving it. Go ahead.
Don't forget that countdown trivia. So you can answer the trivia question at any time between now and next week's show. Just leave that comment for who you think was the person who was on the receiving end of Riggins' touchdown run in the Super Bowl. Leave that in there. If you don't know, don't worry. All you have to do is share this video on Facebook or Twitter. Just make sure you tag Ref the District or use the hashtag and use the hashtag countdown trivia. That just makes sure that we can collect the information, because you will be put into the running to win some swag. We got some new stuff, pint glass, coffee mugs. We got long sleeve shirts. We got new short sleeve shirts. We got hoodies. It is hoodie season, as Trev loves to say. So, and we know that Washington football team owners love to wear their hoodies. So you too can as well. So that's going to do it here for episode 40 of Ref the District, Denver of Thieves. I'm Nathan Perry. Joining me as always, it's Trevor and the Stoner. And until next time, be a fan.
Be a fan.
We love Washington, and we saw them die hard fans. Yeah, we are. And you know we keep it on 10. Let's talk about the offense. 1, 2, 3, let's go. And they gifted. We are Ref the District. Podcast. Come on out.